Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foul Ball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope that you're doing very well. I am doing great. Thank you. Actually, I'm exhausted because I've been working a lot. So I work at a small bakery in Los Angeles, and I have been working some long days, and I'm really tired. But I'm here for you today. Yes, I am. At 9:30 at night to talk about The Expanse. I'm ready to do it. With you and a little bit of help from a local brewery, Golden Road. You know, we all got to do what we got to do. Anyone get their refunds for Cyberpunk 2077? I know I'm trying. What a pile of shit. You know, it's not a pile of shit. The first 3 episodes of The Expanse this season. That's goddamn right. Excellent. All 3 of them. And this is my ongoing coverage of every single episode. And we're on the 3rd one of this new season. What? Outstanding. How fun. What a great thing. I couldn't be happier. I praised it. Somebody said cheekily in one of my videos, one of their comments was, I see the review. I see the recap, but I don't see the reaction. And he was being sarcastic because all I do is react. I'm emotional. I'm expressing emotionally. That's a reaction. And my reaction to this is, yes! This is awesome. I'm so excited. I think it is perfect. Couldn't be better. So if you've never seen any one of these, what I do is I turn the video on. I go to Amazon, right? I click to the next episode of The Expanse. I press play. And then I talk about it. And that's the whole show. That's what I do here for 45 minutes or an hour or whatever. And I try to talk about it, share my thoughts, feed, kind of give you guys what I think, share the fandom of this awesome show with you. And if you would like to join along, feel free to do so. There is a watch party link in the description that you can click on and watch along with me. So that we don't have to, wait, what scene are you on? Can you give me a time code? Wait, when do we? Nope, it's a click. Synchronicity. And we are on episode 3, which is super fun. First 2 episodes were a knockout. 3rd was really great. I don't know why I'm stalling. I don't know what am I going to say here? Let's just go. Let's kick off this show. I just pressed play. So join me. Oh my God. Is anyone disappointed with this? Are there any Expanse fans that are like let down by this? I really want to know if they're out there because I couldn't have been happier. There's nothing here that I could have hoped for that isn't. Did that sentence make sense? I think it did. I thought it was awesome. That's what I'm trying to get at. That's what I'm trying to go for. Avasarala is with the UN Admiral Delgado, played by Michael Irby. He's making her a cocktail, and I guess she gave him like a dirty look because he was shaking it. That I didn't understand that. I was like, he's making your drink. What are you mad at? Why are you mad? Was he supposed to shake it quieter? It's like it won't mix. The ingredients won't combine in the shaker tin if I don't shake it. You know, used to be important in the government, Avasarala. Just kidding. Avasarala is my boo. Do you guys love the Luna world, the like installation and the really cool graphics of like what's going on the surface of the moon? I know I do. I think it's so cool. I love it. It looks like a really well executed version of like every single like 60s sci-fi idea of like what a lunar base looks like, you know? It's always gray. It's always like soft whites, but this is a really cool version of it. I love it. It looks great. I rave about the production design of this show a lot, but I don't know. I think it deserves more credit. I just don't understand why this show is unsung. Like, I really don't get it. Like, to me, it is just so excellent on so many different levels that I'm like, why is it only like a strong contingent of really passionate fans like us that like are obsessed with this show? And it hasn't broke mainstream. Like from so many objective angles, you can look at this show and see that it's extraordinarily well written. It's extraordinarily well acted. It looks amazing. It's like fun, like sci-fi. I guess sci-fi series are not mainstream, but sci-fi movies are, and it's got like there's interesting appeal to it. I don't get it. I really don't understand why it's still like flying under the radar. I'd love to know what Amazon's numbers were for this new season, for this first 3 episodes, because I'd like to know if it was an increase from last year. Because last year came and went. I saw like one billboard in LA and I was like, oh, what the? And then that was it. It just like no one talked about it. It just kind of went out with like a little flutter. And I was like, damn it. I thought this year was going to be the year it hit. I still, most people I talk to like haven't heard of it. Every once in a while, people are like, oh yeah. Or like, oh my God, I so watch it. But it's rare. It's rare. It's like you find like someone else who like loves hockey. You know how like hockey fans are just like obsessive, and you find another hockey fan, they're just like clink, like magnets. That's I think how Expanse fans are. It's like when you find another Expanse fan out in the world, you're like, oh my God. And then you bing, you're like right on the same, you're already bonding. But it's weird. It's just, I don't know what else it would need to have to not break mainstream. Here's a little detail I didn't notice. Very clever, very fun special effect and production design. The liquid in the glasses, whenever they move it, it slowly settles. It doesn't settle like it would on Earth because there's lower gravity, right? That is a good little detail. That's something we would all, I think, collectively forgive. I can't imagine even the most nitpicky, like sci-fi nerd. I can't imagine he would be like, oh, the liquid on Luna wouldn't settle that fast. Just so you know, it's a fraction of the gravity on Earth. So on Luna, it would be less. I mean, I'm just saying. You're breaking my immersion. Like, I don't think anyone would really even, most people wouldn't notice. And I don't even think people who would notice, like, would point it out. But they went the extra mile to make sure that was taken care of. Come on, man. That's fun. That's a fun detail to like pay attention to. I love that. Then they've been doing it since the beginning. They did it on series when he like, what's his name? When Miller, when Miller like poured it, like went whoop, 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 like through on the weird gravity. I bet that's something you could get used to. You know what? You don't ever see anyone playing basketball on series. You don't see like guys just regularly like jamming from like the half court line. That would be pretty cool. Like if you play on like Luna or series, does the basket have to be like 25 feet high just to make it competitive? Because everyone's just Jordan. Boom! Another basket. Oh, and this game is a blowout at 4,001 to 430. Yeah, I don't know. They don't do sports. Oh, no, that's not true. Drummer and Naomi played that weird handball thing. Yeah, did gravity affect that? They're on Tycho. Tycho's got manufactured gravity. Wouldn't have to worry about that, would they? Never mind. Hey, look who it is. The mighty wrench, Eric K. And you know what? I agree with that sentiment. Show your holiday spirit, people. Smash that thumbs up. Thank you, good sir. Eric K is the moderator over at Nerdrotic, one of the mighty wrenches on his team there. It's a great channel. One of my favorite. I watch as much of it as I can. If you guys have never been over there, please do. Please go check out Gary. He's like the North Star in my fandom menace. Very great, very interesting guy. And a cool and funny and entertaining. He's got a good people in his orbit. Oh, Kamina Drummer's butt shot. What? Oh, yeah. Sexy silhouette of Kara G. That's worth the price of admission alone. I mean, if you've watched any one of my videos on The Expanse, you know I have a private love affair in my heart with Kara G. And I'm just waiting for her marriage. Not even. I just would be happy to be her side piece. I'm happy to be her simp. Oh, wait, is that a dirty word? I heard simp's a dirty word now on Twitch and stuff. I wonder if YouTube has made it a dirty word. Oh, I'm so sorry for being offensive. I adore her. And she's my favorite. So getting that little silhouetted look, like, my love. Thank you, Techie Carer. Much appreciated, my friend. glad to have you here. A lot of new people on the channel because one of my videos blew up, which is awesome. I'm happy you guys are here. I'm happy you guys love The Expanse as much as I do. That's been one of the most fun things about doing this. Like, I started covering The Expanse just because I love it, and I had finished covering Umbrella Academy season 2, and I was just like, I don't like this. It felt like a chore because I didn't like the show, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do a show that I love. And that first video did really well, and I was like, oh, people actually want to hear this, and I've just been doing every video since, and it's so cool to connect with all these other Expanse fans and like just debate the nuance and like people who are like on the same level of knowledge and can like go back and forth about it. Like, I have a bunch of friends that are into The Expanse, but no one's into it like I am. Like, if I mention like some minor character or even some major characters, they're like, who's that? I'd have to like contextualize it, and then my enthusiasm would go down because I knew that they weren't as into it as I am. And but having you guys is awesome because I know you guys are super into it. And that's great because it's the best show on TV. I think I'm just straight out saying that now. I used to kind of contextualize it, but I think it's the best show on TV. It's definitely the best show on TV now. But it's a weird year. Excuse me. There's a weird year. There's not a whole lot out, but I'd say it's exponentially better than Cyberpunk. I think there's more Cyberpunk characteristics in this 3 episodes of The Expanse than you get in the entire game of that mess, Cyberpunk 2077. I think there's more Cyberpunk here. There's certainly more science fiction enjoyment, certainly more bang for your buck, without a doubt. The series has made Drummer into a very interesting character as an amalgam of several book characters. Yes, I noticed that, and I thought that was really interesting because she's not quite in the book, is she? But she's one of my favorite characters on the show. Like, I love the actress. I love, like, sometimes amalgam characters kind of have, like, no identity. Her identity is so distinct. She's such an interesting character. I love her relationship and her loyalty with Fred Johnson. Like, I love how much she honors that, like, that dichotomy between them. Is that the word? Dichotomy? No, that dynamic. That's the word. Honors that dynamic and respects him and, like, won't betray him, and they share principles. Like, I love that. And then she had to turn her back on him, obviously, at the end of season 4, which is sad. But she's a really, really interesting character. And the actress who plays her, Cara G, is unreal. She's one of my favorite actresses on this show. She's probably my favorite actress I've discovered in the past few years. Because I'm an actor, and from that point of view, just her inner life, her inner working, like the way her character thinks, you can kind of see it because the way her eyes move and even her breathing, like she's just so dialed into that character. So she puts the work in, and it's complete like confluence, like it's supposed to be. She is supposed to be Kamina Drummer, and it's a great addition to the show, great addition to the story, Does anyone, you guys know about the fact that this show like started off as a tabletop game, like a Dungeons and Dragons style tabletop like board game? I learned that from reading about like just being obsessed with the show. But I mean, think about how fucking cool it would be to have been like in those rooms and like your character is James Holden, your character is Miller, and you're like walking through the unbelievably interesting and meticulous and complex world that they created, like having like sci-fi game fun. That sounds like heroin to me. That just sounds like pure bliss. Like I can't imagine a cooler scenario. I love how they've now brought back Bull in season 5, and Micho Pa is one of the Polyam family members with Drummer 2. All right, you know what? That's a deep cut for me, Techie Care. I don't actually know who you're talking about. Bull. Which one's Bull? Wonder what they have planned for Bull. Who is this Bull character? Is Bull what's her name's right-hand man? Or sorry, Fred Johnson's new right-hand man? Is that Bull? Or is Bull who's Bull? I don't remember. Oh, well, I think by the time I Google it, you guys will probably put it in the chat. Oh man, I feel like Techie Care just tech auditor for Fred. Yeah, that's the guy from Con Air. Is that the guy from Con Air who is the DEA agent, this security chief of the Behemoth, and now Sec? Yes, okay, Yeah, that's the guy. He was the DEA agent in Con Air who gets shot by Cyrus the Virus. It's another masterpiece if you guys are interested, if you've never seen it. Yeah, no, I was so happy to see him, and I like him. And he had one of the best lines last episode, one of the best lines of dialogue I've ever heard, and one of the best lines in this show. But he goes, you know what your problem is? You think just because someone's an underdog makes them the good guy. And I was just like, God damn, that is brilliant. That is one of the most brilliant, insightful, like intelligent lines, and it was also so spot on for the character. Like, I don't want to make this political, but there is just kind of a lot of dynamics now where if you are the underdog, you're automatically like in the right. And for them to kind of throw that into this show, I think is fucking brave, man. I think that's brave because it could be misconstrued. People could take that out of context and get mad at you. And it's not meant to be that. It's wisdom. That's genuine wisdom. That's insight. And I loved it. I thought it was great. There were some, Fred Johnson had some great lines too, when he was talking to Holden about, the world not being like him not being the center of the world and it going on without him and shit like that. Just giving like this kind of sagely advice. I loved it. The behemoth. Remember that from Reservoir Dogs? That wasn't a very good impression. I was trying to do that comedian whose name's escaping me right now. K-Billy swinging sounds of the 70s. The behemoth. What is his name? Oh, man. My brain's not working. I'm tired, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a long couple days. My brain's just like a lot of short circuits. I notice sometimes, too, when I'm streaming. I don't know if you care, but my brain doesn't work as quick as it does like in real life. Like I don't know what's going on. Like I'm like aware that I'm like you guys are watching me, so it doesn't go as fast. Like sometimes I'll listen back to things I said. I'm like, I know what that is. How come I couldn't pull that out while I was on the air? I don't know. Doesn't necessarily work. What is that guy's name? That comedian? Oh, now I need to know. Been in a million different things. He was in Half Baked. He's a funny looking guy. Stephen Wright. That's the comedian. Stephen Wright. That is so not relevant to the Expanse episode 3. I go off on tangents sometimes, guys, but I try to keep it on point as much as possible. This was interesting seeing Naomi go back to her old life on whatever station she's on here. That's pretty interesting. And boy, oh boy, did it get a little dark towards the end there. I'm really curious to see where this journey goes. Oh, hey, guys, also, if you happen to know like certain storylines and where they go and what happens, please don't spoil it. Just, I try to keep this to be a television show fan channel. And sometimes people like post stuff in the comments about the books. If you can, out of the goodness of your heart, please not do that. Because I haven't read them and I don't want to be spoiled. But also, like I know a lot of people who come here haven't read the books also. So try to avoid spoilers. It's just more fun. It's just more fun if you don't have it spoiled. That's how I feel. So please don't. But I'm really curious to see what happens to Naomi. Like at the end of this episode, like didn't Filip like kidnap her or something? Like, is that going to draw like the Rossi on a rescue mission or something? Like this episode is crazy. Like it starts off pretty mellow. Like there's not a lot going on right now. There's a lot of conversation and like, talking in rooms and things happening. But like by the end, a meteor crashes into Earth, which is the equivalent of like a bunch of nuclear bombs. And then Naomi is kidnapped by her son. What the fuck, man? They did not mess around. And it was really intelligently done too, right? Because what a huge cliffhanger, but also what a satisfying chunk of content. I mean, I watched all 3 episodes in the first night. I don't know if you guys did. Maybe you did. I mean, and it was so gratifying because the show felt like the show. It was really interesting. They utilized the characters well. Everyone's kind of off doing their own thing, but I felt just as compelled as I had in prior seasons. And then they end episode 3 on such a banger ending. Like Earth just got attacked essentially, and Naomi's kidnapped, and there's like just so much up in the air. It's so intense. It's brilliant. I mean, I wonder how many people watched it for the first time, like having never seen The Expanse and just like came across it and like, I guess I'll just pop this on. I wonder if you could enjoy it without knowing all the backstory. I mean, probably on some level. But I think Amazon did a great job setting up the season. I'm so impressed. So impressed. So I really thought last season was a bit of a step down from how good the seasons have been in the past. Like season 3, I thought was a masterpiece. It was so interesting. They got so much done in that season, so much interesting stuff. And then like the paying off the proto molecule with the ring gates, the whole stuff with the belt, so many things. And then season 4 was interesting, just not amazing. So I was like, oh no, maybe Amazon can't handle this. Maybe Amazon's like, I don't know, just it's different over there for some reason. But no, I mean, this season has proved to me that is not the case, that they are fully equipped to handle this season of television, this particular show. It's outstanding. Outstanding. Does anyone else like enjoy as much as I do all the like bars and how do I put this? All the like residential like habitats on the different surfaces of the planets, right? Because so often when we go to like Ganymede or we go to Io, it's in an industrial or destroyed or like old, like in disrepair, right? But when we go to see them on Mars, we go to see them on Luna. This is where people live. This is where the bulk of the population on these planets lives. So now we get to see what that looks like, and it's really interesting. I mean, I know we saw a little bit of it last season, but I feel like this is so far we're really getting to indulge in these environments, and they look so cool. Like I love being in this bar on Mars and looking out and seeing like, you know, the giant wall of on the other side with all these different like lights and buildings and things built into it. It's so interesting. It looks great. Thoughts on the visuals this year? My buddy Jake D. Go over to Jake D's channel if you guys are interested. He's a good guy. I like him. We'll probably be talking tomorrow for a little bit on this channel about The Expanse, along with Lord Thoth. But he was saying he didn't love the visuals. Not a fan. And I was like, am I being unfair? Am I being biased for my love for The Expanse? Do you guys feel like the visuals were good, bad? I thought they were great, but I may be enamored with this show. I may be completely enamored. I like this actress that Alex is opposite. Lara Jean. That's gonna be tough. Chorosteki. Anyway, the woman who's playing Lieutenant Babbage, who's doing research, kind of a little recon on Alex for the Admiral. I like her. I like this dynamic. I think it's fun. Little like honeypot kind of a spy situation going on here. I wonder if Alex is hip to her. I don't think he is. I kind of like it. Although he does no, because then when he was drugged later on, he did say that he thought that she didn't like him. That was an intense scene, huh? I like that. Yeah, I think so much of what this show has done that I really appreciate is it develops its stories and it develops its characters and puts them in new situations, and you see them like challenged in new ways, and you see different characteristics either like develop or more like flaws get exacerbated. Like I was pointing out last episode how Avasarala in season 4, like running for office, how poorly equipped she was for it and how bad like she was at being diplomatic. And even though she's probably the better leader, like she couldn't adjust and adapt and lost. And it was really interesting to see. And I really like that. I think that's something this show does really well. It knows its world. It knows its characters. It knows all its pieces and components. So when it's in different situations, it's like they can understand, oh, this is how Amos would react. This is how Drummer would react. I dig that. I mean, that's just great world building. I mean, these guys are on a whole other level. And we get a lot of Kara G this episode, which I'm a big fan of. Boy, do I adore that lady. I love her so much. You know what I really admire about the character? She exudes so much authority and presence without ever pushing or like, like sneering, like she's just like carries herself in a way that's compelling and interesting and powerful. And so therefore you respect her power. She doesn't need to tell you she's powerful. She doesn't need to show you. You can just feel it. It's so interesting. Speaking of interesting, I don't know what's going on with this. We are in like the middle of the episode, and she finds in the in the one of the emergency lockers, she like takes apart like what looks like a fire extinguisher, pops off the bottom, and there was a bunch of stuff, including a gun in there. I don't know. I'm not sure if I caught what that was all about. I'm very curious. Oh, and Amazon's letting me know that there's dramatic music playing, so that's good to know. Yeah, there's like food and then a gun. I don't know. Is that supposed to be? Is there someone stowed away, or is this a coup? Are they going to try to kill her in her sleep or something like that? Is she going to get betrayed? Interesting stuff, though. I like Drummer on her own, but I really like her a lot with Fred Johnson, and I'm sad that dynamic is currently weakened. Yeah, and then there's a recording there with Ashford and Marco. Did I miss something? I gotta go back and watch this. I'm a little confused as to why this recording exists and what the gun was all about. I have to go back and check on this. What a great feeling. I get to go experience more Expanse stuff. So, God, it's so great that it's good. It's so great that it's good. I haven't felt this satisfied watching a show in so long. I mean, I think the last thing I loved this much that was on the air that I was obsessed over was Game of Thrones. And we all know how that went. So I haven't felt this kind of like excitement for new episodes since then. When every season would come out, I would go back and rewatch it and like pore over it and talk about it and obsess and try to come up with new angles and and I just haven't felt that in so long. And now The Expanse is that for me. And I had so much trepidation going into this new season. I'm like, oh God, what if they fuck it up? What if they ruin it? Like, what if they do these things I don't want to see them do with it? And they didn't. They didn't. They killed it. Something to be grateful for sure. I love the Belter tattoos. They are so cool. If it wasn't like really weird to do that, I would probably get one. Like the neck ones are so cool, but you can't get a neck tattoo. Not unless you want people to think you're a psychopath. But maybe I could get like one of those tattoos, just like a shoulder tattoo or something like that. That wouldn't be weird. I don't have any ink. It'd be fun. Something to think about. I actually envision like sometimes having like this whole sleeve of like all the sci-fi things that I love. Like the Rocinante and like Gordon Freeman and like the Fallout power armor and lightsabers and shit. That'd be pretty fucking rad. Just like a big mosaic of all the things that I love. I'd have to make sure the series ends though before I get a tattoo because I don't want it to go all Game of Thrones on me and then I look at it and resent it. So a few of my friends still have like Game of Thrones stuff in their house. And I'm like, how do you keep that around? How do you look at the House Stark logo and not get enraged? It was upset. I went over to my friend's house at some point. And he had that thing on his couch, and I was just like, I didn't say anything to him, but I kind of wanted to, but I just didn't want to be like that, hyper obsessive nerd. But I just was like, why do you have that? Like, how can you look at that? That'd be like having like, if you got excited for like the Force Awakens or something, having like that poster still in your house. I'm like, how can you, after knowing what it all is, like, how can you still look at that all the time? Don't you feel betrayed? Don't you feel lied to? God, I know I do. Oh, right. The mystery. You know what I like about this? We got a lot of mystery this season. Because that was something that the first 3 seasons did so well. There was some mystery in season 4, but not really, just kind of unknowns, like where you kind of like, oh, the guy that Bobby's working for, is he good? Is he bad? Like, the tech, whatever the proto molecule tech is on New Terra, like what's that about? But it wasn't quite a mystery where you didn't know what the fuck was going on, like with Julie Mao and all that stuff, where you're just super compelled by every little moment. But now that we have like something going wrong on Tycho, and then mysteries with who's selling who's selling the stealth rockets on Mars, like things that we need to uncover, things we need to get to the bottom of. Like, this show started off as like a straight up like detective noir mystery, and I'm really glad we're getting back to those roots, because it works so well in this universe when there's so many other layers and there's so much other stuff going on. I love to see that. It's very intriguing, right? And it's very immersive too, because you're thinking as a viewer, you're really working on what's going on. You're trying to figure out all the details. Eric K says, sounds great, but remember the field you work in. You may need to cover those tats for roles, which means you may not get some. Just a thought. I mean, I appreciate that, Eric. It hasn't really been much of an issue up until now. You know what I mean? It's not like they're like, oh, do you have any tattoos? And I'd be like, no. Like, oh, thank God, because so many directors are kicking down your door to work with you. If you had tattoos, all those opportunities would just float away. Hasn't been an issue up until yet, Eric, but I appreciate you giving me the thought, something to think about. Hey, so what's up with the Spartan helmet on Mars? Like, I see all these Spartan helmet logos on Mars. Is that the college, or does that represent the Martian military? I don't think I knew what that's about. I'd never seen that before. I hope that didn't come across rude, Eric. I do appreciate the thought. I just thought it was funny to make fun of myself in that moment. Does anyone know what that's about? Is that, because it's cool. It's like the profile of the Spartan helmet with like a sword through it, but I just wasn't sure. I've never seen that before, as far as I know. That's a cool shot. All these overlapping like walkways and girders. That looks really dope. You know how to get to me. Expanse. Oh, that's cool. The carpet there in like whatever hotel he's staying in is like, I guess like the Martian flag, but it's all like a long pattern. That's pretty cool. That looks good. And now, now Alex is getting jumped by all these thugs who are, I guess they're the ones doing all the dealing of the weaponry. And do they work for the Admiral? See, mystery, excitement, fun. I love that this is here. It's so satisfying. Oh no, Eric, I'm such a big fan of yours. Don't leave. I apologize. I take it all back. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh well. Yeah. Oh, mystery. Yeah. Like, it's exciting to know, like, to be curious, like, where this is going. Like, is this the guy selling the weapons, or is it like another faction? And like, I don't know. What's the future of Mars? They really did a good job with this one. There's a lot of balls in the air, and I'm really curious to track all of them. I think that's really like, that was just cool too. They were just showing in Alex's hotel room, just like 3 or 4 like flying cars just whipped by, or maybe it was like a train or something like that, but it looked awesome. Yeah, like they're doing that really well. They're really making each environment feel very alive. Oh, and then I sure did, Eric. You're quite the character. I was actually working on an impression of you. I was working on an Eric K impression. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if that translated, but it made me laugh by myself. I was making an Eric K impression. I got it. Eric K is the mod over at Nerdrotic. Gary at Nerdrotic. Go there for amazing content. If you guys are not familiar with Nerdrotic, can't recommend it more. Like I said before, it's a North Star of my fandom menace. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Glad you appreciate that, sir. Yeah, the environment, like the details of the production design. I mean, that's what's just so weird about Hollywood and like what gets awards and what doesn't. Like, it isn't just like objectively what's the best. It's like what's the most popular or what needs to get popular so that it'll sell. Like, who needs political influence and favor. Like, it isn't. I naively used to think it was like objectively what's the best, but then you start to think about how much stuff gets made. It's like, how could it possibly be? I mean, it's not like someone's just going to comb over all these things, but in the principle of awarding the best, how is the production design of this show not like at least acknowledged? It's so excellent. The look and feel of this show is amazing. It's exactly what it should be. It feels science fiction-y, but it also doesn't feel like cartoony. It's grounded. It's human. It's real. Each environment has its own like characteristics, like Lord of the Rings, right? You have the elves, and you've got the hobbits, and you've got the humans and the dwarves, and all those cultures have very distinct looks and distinct feels, and they pull that off in this show. Every when you go to Mars, you feel like you're on Mars. When you're on Earth, so on and so forth. That it really. It's just remarkable, you know? And I try to think about these things objectively because I love it, obviously. I'm obsessed, and I also love the genre. Like, science fiction like this is so interesting to me. But I think objectively, like, they're executing the tasks that they were assigned to do on a really high level. And I just don't know how that's not award worthy. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I'm glad. Up until now, I've been very glad because, you know, I felt like the show got popular, like really genuinely like mainstream popular, it would start to suck. It would just get infiltrated by the wrong people. So I think I'm grateful that it wasn't super popular. But now that we've got the fifth season, it's all done, obviously, and it looks good. And we know next season's going to be the last. Shit, maybe it's time for this to blow up. Maybe it's time for the Expanse to finally get its day. Because it would really suck if this is one of those shows that never really quite gets the recognition, like the mainstream recognition that it deserves, which is pretty significant, I would say. I mean, I can't think of a show that's this well written, this well adapted, this well acted, looks this good, is this compelling of a story, even if you don't care about all the nuts and bolts. It's the best show on TV now. It's maybe my favorite show ever. And I honestly feel like it's one of the best shows ever made. And I know it's a lot. That's a lot. But for what they've done, the fact that they have this universe, I don't know if I have to make this point, but it's just, you know, it's weird to me that something this good and this like well-loved is still kind of an underground show on Amazon. It's not like you have to go find it. Everyone's got Amazon, obviously, as he's about to own the economy. We're just going to have Amazon dollars. We won't be any more US dollar. It's all y'all. We're all going to work for Amazon, and in exchange for working, we're going to get credits with which we can buy stuff at the Amazon shop, which quite frankly, I'm okay with. I got this at Amazon. I got this at Amazon. I got this at Amazon. I'm an Amazon whore. I mean, I guess I'm part of the problem, but yeah, you'd think though that like if Amazon, if everyone is like linked into Amazon or like the Matrix, how do they not know about the Expanse? How do they not know about that? I don't know. It's like a big story too. That they rescued it from the grave, from the sci-fi swamp. Which, is there another show that sci-fi's ever made that's any good? I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just like, did they do Battlestar Galactica? Because that was supposed to be really good. I haven't seen it. But other than that, I mean, I started watching that 12 Monkeys adaptation and I ran away. He ran out of the room. I was like, I love that movie so much. It was just like, oh, it was like the community theater version. I was like, stop. I'm out. I don't want to do this. Okay, so in this scene, we get the reveal. I think it's a reveal that Kamina Drummer is gay, which I love the way they handled it because they weren't like underlining it, like, hey, drum roll, guess what? She's gay. Like they just did it. Like it's just, and it doesn't seem out of character at all. It seems completely likely. But someone in the comment section of one of my videos said, oh no, they revealed that last season with every scene with Naomi. I was like, did I miss something? Did they try to like kiss? Like did that, what do you know? It just seemed like a couple of girls hanging out. I didn't get the impression that she was like into girls. Like it wouldn't have surprised me either way, but it didn't feel like it was like, oh, they're leaning into it. It was just girls like do that. They like dance and get close to each other. It's just, that's what I just didn't feel like. So they said that as if like, I don't know what you were watching, but that was super clear. I didn't think it was super clear at all. It wouldn't have shocked me, but it wasn't like, emboldened. Watch Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, I mean, I intend to. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll do that next. Because the Expanse is going to end eventually. Yeah, I guess I'll have to check that out. See, I don't understand that. Wasn't there like, there was like a movie and then so there was a miniseries from like the 70s. Then there was a movie and then a miniseries, I think. And now they're doing it again. I don't know. But I mean, the way people talk about Battlestar Galactica, I think I'd have to. What's that guy? Ben Browder? Is that his name? The guy who was also in Farscape? I wish I got into Farscape a few years ago. Because I started watching it when I was in college, which is much more than a few years ago now. But I really enjoyed it. But now I go back and watch it and it feels dated. Not because of the visuals or anything, just because of the serialized nature of the show. Like it just feels like, oh, this is the episode where they go to the Floop-de-Doo house. And this is the episode where they track down. It just, I know that that's how TV was made. I'm not faulting it for that, but it just feels kind of like, I can't really click onto this. But I haven't tried that hard either, so maybe I should. But that's what I like about the Expanse. One of the greatest things is how sophisticated the narrative structure is. It isn't just flashy lights and space explosions and like superficial things that are compelling. Like it's a really sophisticated script. Like the structure of the mystery is really compelling and captivating. And then the way they use action is so elegant and precise. It's not gratuitous. It's not like, hey, here's the action scene. We got to do action. It's like, no, it works. It's pivotal. And then characters change and develop. Like it's just a really sophisticated show. And you take that sophistication and put it in any environment, it's interesting. But put it in my favorite environment and like, oh my God, we got the best show ever. A couple of series in the last century. You want to watch the 2003 to 9 Sci-fi series. 6 seasons? Wow. Okay. Was it Sci-fi back then? I think it was Sci-fi. Start with the 3-hour miniseries, then episode 1 called 33. Okay. Fuck it. I'll check it out. I will watch it. That's funny. I said I would watch this YouTube miniseries that Kara G's in like, I don't know, 5 months ago, and I haven't done it yet. But I mean it. That doesn't mean to say I won't watch it. I swear I'll watch it. I will. I want to. I'm compelled to do it. Where can I get it, though? Is it on Hulu? Like, where do you get sci-fi shows? I'm sure I could figure that out. I was just thinking out loud because I'm talking to you online. And silence is awkward. Let's not have silence. We're at this scene where Naomi confronts Filip. Interesting. I know I pointed this out last episode. Actually, oh, okay. 4 seasons of Battlestar Galactica, but it got broken up. Okay, 4 seasons seems like a tidy number. I'll check it out. I will check it out, KD. Thank you for the recommendation. I was saying interesting parallels in the narrative here with Naomi and Alex trying to rekindle things with their estranged children. I find that very interesting. I'm curious to see if there's going to be some sort of like theme involved or like some sort of like maybe some reflection on the character choices in pursuing those goals of reconnecting with their kids. And obviously, I mean, the way this one ends with with Naomi. Maybe the stakes are a tad higher on her storyline, as he is the son of the terrorists trying to destroy all the inner planets, and they then kidnap her. That does seem like to maybe take a little more precedence. Don't they kind of look like each other though? Like the casting is really good. Like they look like they have like the same like facial structure and skin tone. Like they genuinely look like they could be related. I don't know about mother and son. She looks about 10 years older than him, but it's still really well cast. Like he genuinely looks related to her. It's like, that is impressive. That is impressive, because sometimes you'll see that they'll cast superficially and it'll just be like, oh, you know what I mean? You just cast that person because they looked like them. Like, you know, and it just doesn't work. It's like, yeah, I mean, he looks exactly like the person, but it's so boring. He's not the right person for the job. Like that superficial connection really only matters for like 15 minutes. And then it's really, are they the person in their soul? And that's really what's more interesting. 75 hours. All right. That's a lot of Battlestar Galactica. I'll have to check it out. I mean, Gary over at Nerdrotic loves it. He and Doomcock talk about it a lot. Dictor von Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth. I don't know if you're familiar, but he lives in the center of the Earth. He drives his drill car to the surface from time to time, but he will eventually enslave us all and take over the Earth. So you should probably start showing him respect now. Maybe he'll show you favor when he takes over. I'm just saying, I'm a subscriber. That's all I'm saying. Dictor von Doomcock's got a great channel. Lots of exterior spaceship porn in this season, which you're not going to hear any complaints from me about. Not at all. They use those shots too, like really interestingly, just like establishing shots. Just like, oh yeah, hey, we're back on the moon. It's like, oh, cool, we're on the moon. I love it. All the techie. And now we're on this. I love that this Belter ship that we're on right now is all like knobby and like tech, like kind of like cyberpunky. Everything's a little dirty and chipped and kind of not as pretty. I love that they take the time to make those choices, because it also really enhances your viewing experience, because you don't have to do any mental work to figure out where you are. You just know as soon as you see it. Like you don't even have to think about it. You're Belter. You're on that ship. It's such a efficient way to tell a great story. And if you feel the difference when you're at the spots before you even notice it. I'm just thinking about the music of this show. I've never really noticed it, which I think means it's really good, because I don't have like an ear for music. Like my buddy, I used to live with my friend who's a piano player, and he would always point out bad music in movies. And I'd hate when he would do it, because once he would do it, I couldn't not hear it. I'm like, well, okay, now this movie sucks. Thanks. You know, it's like, has like really heavy handed, like feel this way about this scene music. And I'm like, you know what? I like this movie until you did something I can never take back. Thanks. But I never noticed the music in this show. I never thought that this show had like music that was, you know, on the nose or like a stinger to make you feel anxious. There's nothing worse than when music gets ahead of the moment. They're like, oh, okay, I guess this moment's going to suck for the characters, because you basically are telling me that in 30 seconds. Yeah, oh, what do you know? It got bad. It's like, let me experience it. Like, what do you? It's like bumpers on a bowling alley. Like, okay, I mean, if I get a gutter ball once in a while, nothing's going to happen to me. Let me feel it. Like, let it happen. Nothing worse than that. Nothing worse. I like Avasarala's arc. I don't know if it's quite an arc, but her swing from being like the most alpha bitch in the government, right, to like, you know, going out in space, maybe being in exile, coming back, getting redemption, but then, you know, losing her status last season from losing the election. And now she's sort of like on the outskirts of the government and getting bitched around by that girl, Lucy Gao, which is really funny to watch, and her taking it on the chin because she understands. But her still trying to affect, you know, change, still trying to get stuff done in the solar system. So cool to watch, because it's so interesting. Like she's her no matter where she goes. You know, sometimes her flaws are highlighted. Sometimes her you know, qualities or attributes are highlighted. But she's always the same person. Always has the same like protective instincts for the inners and the solar system at large. And I love that about her character. You know, it's really fun how this show explores like virtue and explores like noble intention, you know, because it's wrapped up in different characters, and sometimes purely having those intentions doesn't mean it's going to work out. It just means, yeah, you had the intention, you tried, and you failed pretty big. It's cool. You know, it's fun. It's sophisticated. You know, some other shows would just sort of, you know, oh, you're a good guy. You say good things and you do good things and it works out. And it's just, there's not really much in that for the viewer. You know, it's a cheap ride, disposable, but it doesn't really leave you with anything, you know? Show like this does. Complexity does. Gray does. Because it's challenging, and it challenges you as the viewer. I think we're reaching an age where, like, if you're not challenging the viewer, like, almost aggressively, you're going to lose them. Because we have so much access to distractions. There's so much infinite entertainment out there, and it's just always new. And if you're boring your audience for even like a minute or 2 minutes, I really think you risk losing them forever. And I think the way you keep your audience engaged is to challenge them, is to really try to give them something they haven't seen or really make them engage with your show. Because we're the most sophisticated and knowledgeable audience of all time. There's never been an audience of people that have had this much access to content and watch it as much as we do. Ever. In the history of ever. You can't. We have too much at our hands, and we watch it, so we know. So our instincts are attuned to when they're going to pull bullshit punches, and we can see it coming and we get bored. You really got to step up your game. You really got to step up your game. Oh, yeah, here we go. Right. Oh, my God. What a way to end the episode. Fucking badass. Oh, does anyone know what language that is in the end? I don't know what language that is. But there's this guy, like, standing on the beach, just like, is he throwing rocks, or... Looks like he's just like throwing rocks at the ocean. I don't know what language it is. I wish I was more worldly, than I would know. Yeah, he's like fishing. Oh, maybe it was Norway, because it says there's 3 different types of mackerel that he was looking at on his little viewfinder, and one of them was Norway, and that language looked like it might have been Norwegian. Boys, I think we figured it out. I don't know. This is such a fucking crazy way to end it. Him just looking up and just seeing like death, just a gigantic impact. Like his skin's like already burning. Oh my God. And that being a gigantic ending like that, West Africa. Yeah, that's what I meant. West Africa, Norway, same thing. Oh, fuck. I was way off. Thanks, KD. I appreciate that, brother. I really do. But what a way to end it. And it didn't feel cheap. It didn't feel like, oh, what's going to happen? It was just like, holy Christ, did they just bomb the earth? And it landed? Like, I expected someone to save the day. They didn't even see it coming. They were kind of had the idea that it might come, but they didn't know. Wow. That was impressive, man. I couldn't be more happy with those first three episodes. Like, genuinely. Like, it's as good as I could have hoped for. And I'm so thrilled. And I hope that the rest of the season lives up to this unbelievably beautiful precedent they've set. Because it's, wow. God, if the rest of it's anything like this, it's going to be a great season. During the episode, there are coordinates and maps of each of the Marco rocks. That's right. Yeah, and I don't really know my geography that well. And right before the rock hits, it's clearly the outline of some thing, but I don't know. I kind of need some of that stuff to be spoon-fed to me because I'm a stupid American who doesn't know. I'll read that on meme sites and people trash Americans. They don't know the countries. They don't know their geography. I'll be like, you know what? Fuck you. And then I'll literally have to look at the flag on their name and then have to go find it because I actually genuinely don't know what country it is. And they're kind of right about that. I don't like admitting it, but it's true. Well, hey, guys. Couple of fucking awesome episodes. Pretty good Christmas present for us, I'd say. And I'm really excited to check out the next ones. I appreciate you guys watching this episode with me. I'll be covering every single episode, probably extensively. So if you miss a stream, tune in again. I'll be talking about it. And Saturday, tomorrow, 3 p.m. my time, 3 p.m. Pacific, me and Lord Thoth, who's one of my favorite people to talk The Expanse with because he knows this stuff better than I do. He knows all the books. He knows the show. He's got really interesting opinions about that stuff. So if you guys have not gotten your Expanse fix, if you're not done, listen to us talk about it. Check us out tomorrow at 3 on this channel. And all the Expanse content you could hope for is coming out of this channel because I love it and I'm so happy. And I don't have to make angry videos about how they ruined my favorite show. I get to be happy about it. It's awesome. One last thing, KD. This series has been foreshadowing since season 1. In the books, totally out of the blue, reader is shocked. The series has been really with Marco? You kind of, I don't know. Like, it's mentioned that she has an ex who worked for the OPA, but I don't remember feeling like, oh no, this is going to be the big guy. I actually thought the opposite. I thought that the show was doing a really good job building up a new villain over the past 2 seasons. I thought they were like, it's like even in this poster I pointed out like yesterday, like you see like the way he's just kind of like a shadow in the background. Like he's sort of building his influence. Like he's fucking things up, but he's not quite there yet. And even in last season, they had him cornered, right? They caught him and they let him go. And you like now, like I think they're doing a great job of like building him to be this like terrifying villain. I think it's really, really good. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Matt from Foul Ball Productions. And if you haven't pressed the like button, please do it. It really means a lot. It helps the channel. It helps the algorithm. It pleases the YouTube gods or whatever voodoo they respect. So please do that and subscribe if you haven't because lots of cool content coming out about our favorite show. All right, guys, have a great night.